These testimonials are representative of my or our experiences, but the exact results and experience will be unique and individual to each person. The information provided herein is not medical advice and is not intended to substitute for the advice of your personal physician or other healthcare providers.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's The Beautiful Bag podcast. I am your host, Leanne Hayden, and as always, it is wonderful to have you here with us. And this week, I have an amazing guest who's going to talk about a very rare topic and the reason why she is in an ostomy. And her name is Tori Judson. And Tori, welcome to the show.
Thanks. So do I just talk about my condition?
I'll ask some questions, sweetheart, and we will get into that. We will have that conversation. So speaking of that, why don't you just briefly tell the audience, tell the listeners, you're a double ostomate and you have a very rare condition. It's called HSAN IV, right? And you've had your ostomy. Looks like you've had one for over 3 years and one just over a year. But this condition of yours is very rare. So why don't we talk about, how did they find it? And, what has your journey been like?
I was diagnosed at 19 because there was a lot of years misdiagnoses. And my autonomic issues started worsening after I turned 18, which has resulted in my ostomies and a port. It affects, so I can't feel pain or sweat or temperature. There's just a lot of stuff.
Wow. So you don't feel pain at all? And they didn't find that out until you were 19 years old?
Well, we didn't know there was an actual condition, or, you never know.
Right.
They didn't do the right testing.
Right. So, okay. So they did the right testing. They found that you have this condition. So you don't feel pain, you don't feel sweat. What is that like for you?
I have to take precautions and be in a temperature controlled environment. I mean, it can be isolating, but I'm thankful for the Instagram community.
Your Instagram account, the Instagram community. Yes, you're right. Now you mentioned in this about your life after your ostomies, right? So you've been starting to be more vocal, right? And talking about it online. So what got you into wanting to do that?
So I just started doing that last year, and I just felt that God had placed a calling in my heart to be an ostomy advocate, and I started publicly showing my ostomies last year too.
You did. That is so brave, Tori. That is so brave of you. It's not easy. It's not an easy thing for anyone to do. So that is so brave of you. Proud of you for doing that. And what have you received from doing that? How's the community been towards you for that?
They've been supportive, and I've been able to connect with awesome people and make amazing friendships and help others.
How cool is that? So now so what has life been like for you after? So you find out you have this rare condition, you have on and off issues. And so what was the colostomy, the first ostomy that you got 3 years ago? Was that the first one?
Yeah, well, my urostomy, but I did have a colostomy until I got my ileostomy, and the colostomy didn't work.
Okay. So now with this disease, you don't feel pain, you don't sweat. What does that do to your organs? Like, does it shut it down? Did it shut down your colon or?
Yeah, in my case, it affects my autonomic system too, but I have to watch out for injuries and stuff. But it's so for the bladder, I had a small bladder capacity of 100 milliliters
Mm-hmm.
and a neurogenic bladder, and we discussed other options before the surgery,
Mm-hmm.
but those wouldn't work because if we catheter, so like I don't feel pain, and it had to be like constant since it only held 100.
Right. Right.
And
Okay.
then for the colon, it was slow transit, constipation, decreased motility, and those are related to my condition.
Okay. So how has life been for you having your ostomy? What has that helped your condition? Has it helped you? Has it helped you with your condition that you have?
Yeah, it's helped improve my quality of life in those areas.
Okay, so let's talk about that. How has it improved your quality of life?
Well, I can poop now. So yeah, I
That's
don't.
important.
Yeah, and I don't have to wear. I used to have to wear the adult Depends.
Mhm.
Yeah, until surgery, like that year that I had.
Yep. So now you don't have to do that. So now you have your bag. So now this year you've learned to get involved in your medical stuff, right? And into your
Yeah,
bag changes and ordering your own supplies and doing all of that. Um, how does that feel to be able to get to that point to be able to do that? Because you do have autism too, right? So
yeah.
that is another piece. So how does that feel to be able to take care of yourself in that way?
It feels awesome, and that I feel more independent.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. So now I'm assuming you're living with your parents, right?
yeah, but I'll be moving out into a group home.
Okay. There you go. There you go. How does that feel?
I'm excited.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
good. That's so sweet. That's so good, Tori. That's so good for you. That'll be fun. You can be around some other friends, make new friends, make more friends. And also it's saying you're a guest speaker now. So have
Yeah,
you been doing that?
yeah, I just started doing that in November, and I go back in April. But it feels amazing to be able to spread awareness in that way.
So let's talk about that. So what was that like for you? What did you do? Did they put you up in a hotel? Did they have you up on a stage? What kind of a group did you talk in front of?
So it was at my former high school to juniors and seniors. It was on how ostomy save lives from a patient's perspective.
That is fantastic. What an education that you can give to people, to give to children, like especially in high school, right? So when you were in high school, you didn't get your ostomies till after, correct? After you
Yeah.
graduated? Yeah. So what was it like? Well, so what was life like for you in high school?
Uh, well, towards the my senior year, things got bad because of my health.
Hmm?
But other than that, I think I just coped.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you're pretty brave, Tori. You're pretty brave, and getting up and speaking, not many people have that skill and have that ability to get up in front of people and talk and share their story. So what was the story that you told them? Do you remember?
So it was just on different things like um educating. Like I talked about condition towards the end,
Mm-hmm.
but colostomy versus ileostomy, loop versus end, and
Mm-hmm.
then mine's an end loop, and then traveling with an ostomy, adjusting a life with an ostomy, a lot of different topics.
Okay, good. So let's dig into that, because I just did a podcast episode a couple weeks ago on traveling with an ostomy. So what has your travel experience been?
So I've gone on 2 road trips, but this last time was different because since I have ileostomy now. But
Yeah.
the humidity that we were in that for a little bit, but that it affected my skin too. And I had a leak.
And how did you manage that leak? What did you do?
Uh, I had a change earlier,
Mhm.
and I'm glad I brought extra supplies. But it was just the most rods. Well, because I had a ballooning incident where we were on a ghost tour, and I couldn't just go off to the side and just
And take care of it. You had to go finish
yeah,
what you were doing.
yeah.
Well, good. You know something, a lot of us have probably been in that same type of a situation, right? Where we have gone out and done something or been somewhere and have a leak and you can't do anything about it. And I can share a little story for you and you'll probably appreciate this. I went to a wedding the other day, couple weeks ago, and I'm at the wedding. I'm in a black and white dress. And towards the end of the night, I was like, I can smell a little poo. I could smell it. I mean, nobody else could smell it. Nobody. By the time, so when we got back to the hotel room, I changed out of my dress and I had my Spanx on, so everything was nice and tight, but I had a teeny tiny leak, a small leak. And I was like, oh my goodness, can you imagine? And I'm in a white dress at a wedding in front of 200 people. Right? So we've all been in those situations before. So when you had the leak, what did you do to change? What did you do to clean it up? Did you use did it hurt your skin at all? Did it irritate your skin or was it just easy to clean up?
So I can't feel when I have a leak, but when I did that, I had to let it. I couldn't place the bag on right away because I had to let it because it was like there was some blood around it. That's how raw it was. So I had to let it air out
Mm-hmm.
before I place it on.
Yep, you have to let it air out. And do you have stoma powder?
Yeah, but I haven't had many issues. I haven't really had issues with leaking
Yeah.
now, but I mainly use like the skin barrier wipes and spray
Mm-hmm.
and adhesive spray. There's that.
That is a lifesaver. Adhesive spray, so you're not pulling your skin off. I remember when I first started, I didn't really know about adhesive remover spray until probably 2 years ago, and I've had my ostomy for 8 years. Or even a year ago. People had mentioned it, but I never really thought about it. Like it just didn't click in my head. And I consider myself, all right, I get it. But I was asked to try an adhesive remover spray and I used it and I was like, "Oh, this is like magic. I can just
Yeah.
spray and the flange falls off and I'm not pulling it like a Band-Aid off my skin." Yeah, so I totally get it. I totally get it. So when you were doing, so you traveled, you did some road trips, and you're able to do those more now than you were before. Is that what you told the students?
Yeah, and I can be out in a little higher weather because my IV hydration stops.
Okay. Okay, so now, so you're doing that. So you're living your life. So you're living your life. So you're getting so you're moving into a new place. You're going to be around make some new friends. You're able to change and take care of your own ostomies, which is amazing. Congratulations, clapping hands to you for that, right? And you're starting to bring awareness, right? And you said that you um are starting to talk more and more about how life still moves on and it gets better. How would you put that into your own words?
Um, well, because ostomies improve the quality of life, and your life doesn't end after ostomy surgery.
Now, when you were getting your ostomy surgery, did you think it would end?
No, I hadn't even researched ostomies before that. I'd never even heard of ostomy.
Right? Isn't it amazing? One day you just, all of a sudden they're like, okay, we're going to give you an ostomy. And you're like, wait, what? I've never heard that before. I've never heard even what it is. And most people will go and Google and then be like, oh no, right? Because we don't, it's poo, right? And who wants to talk about poo? It just doesn't really register with people. But you have done some amazing things. So you're speaking in front of people, you're bringing awareness, you're growing your Instagram account. I will put the link to your Instagram account so everybody can, all the community can come around you and continue to support you on your journey, because it is absolutely an amazing journey. You're bringing awareness to this new condition. And again, guys, it's called HSAN IV, and it is very rare. It's a very, very rare condition. I was like, what's the word that I want to use? It's a rare condition. And I love about, you were talking about your faith, and you had said to me, you've grown closer to God. Talk to me about that journey.
Oh, that's a long one, but
Okay, we can talk about it, sweetheart. We got time.
yeah.
Yeah, I want to hear it.
So through all the, I don't know, through all the hospital stays and stuff, and self-reflection, I've been able to grow in my faith. I know he's always there.
You know, he's always there. Yeah. Yeah, he is good. He is good all the time. So do you read the Bible? Do you study
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, I read the Bible with my mom in the mornings, and then I have a young adult Bible study.
That's terrific. Is there a favorite verse you have?
I like 1 Peter 4:10.
Why don't you say it to us? Why don't you tell us what that is in case some of the listeners don't know?
Just a second.
Yeah, go get it.
I don't like have memories.
We would love to hear it.
Let me find it.
Okay, you find it.
Each of you should use whatever gift you have received to serve others as faithful stewards of God's grace in its various forms.
And you are doing that, just that. You are serving others by talking to these younger adults, these, these teenagers on what life is like for you, what life is like for us in this ostomy community, bringing all that in. You are so doing that on a daily basis. So thank you so much, Tori, for doing that. If there was one thing, sweetheart, that you would want to leave our listeners with, would it be that verse, or would there be one other thing that you would want to leave them with?
That you should always hope, like, to not let go of hope.
That is a perfect way to end this podcast episode. And I want to thank you so much, sweetheart, for showing up, for wanting to share your story, for reaching out to me on email and saying, hey, please let me tell my story. I want to share it. And for having the strength to go ahead and do so. And again, I will leave your social media handle for Instagram here on the podcast in the show notes. And anyone listening, you can go over and you can follow Tori and support her in this journey, right? And give her all the love and grace that we can give her in her faith. And I'm so excited for you to have your own place and live in the home with your friends. And, congratulations to your parents for raising such a beautiful, beautiful daughter. You are a wonderful light, Tori. So thank you so much again for being here with us this week.
Yeah, thank you for having me.